Pokemon has just announced the brand new set Paldean Fates due to release in January. But there have been two other Fate sets, one in Sun and Moon and one in Sword and Shield, Hidden Fates and Shining Fates, and Paldean Fates is the next one in that list. So today we'll be going back and taking a look at what has been going on with Hidden Fates and Shining Fates. Now both of them are incredible sets, but how well have they fared since their releases? Get into it. Right guys, so today we're taking a look at TCG Player at Hidden Fates and Shining Fates. Now both sets are, in my opinion, are fantastic. Hidden Fates is one of my all-time favorite sets, but they couldn't be any more different, especially when it comes to value. And when I'm talking about value, we're talking sealed product and single cards, because Hidden Fates is pretty pricey, right? Whereas Shining Fates is really cheap. Both sets were heavily printed and reprinted. What has been going on between the two of them, and is this going to give us some sort of indication of what's going on with Paldean Fates, especially what has been going on recently with the other Scarlet and Violet era sets? Right, let's find out. Right, first off we have the Hidden Fates booster pack. Now of course, like all the other holiday sets, they're only available in ETBs and other supplementary products, no booster boxes. This is quite pricey, nearly $20 a booster pack. Now we've been seeing a lot of Sun and Moon era going up pretty much across the board, so for this to be, you know, $20 is actually quite pricey. And as you can see, over the last 3 months it kind of shot up, you know, from over the last 3 months, it kind of shot up from around $16, $17 now up to nearly $20. We go back 6 months and it took a little bit of a dip. You know, it was around that 19 and then it did dip a bit and now it's gone up even higher. We go back over the past year and overall booster packs are getting more and more expensive. Now over here in the UK, they are also getting expensive, but not quite as expensive as it is over in the US. Now Hidden Fates was printed heavily. This isn't the best way of getting Hidden Fates packs. Of course, it is from the ETB itself. Now a Hidden Fates ETB, we're looking at $170, so that works out around about $17 a pack. You get 10 packs in there. But on top of that, you also get an awesome promo, which is worth anywhere between $10 to $15, and all the other accessories. So actually, you can get them a little bit cheaper from getting an ETB. Now, it hasn't really moved much. It's been going up a little bit and up and down. Hasn't really done much, even over the past 6 months. These ETBs have done not a lot of movement. And then over the past year, I mean, they've triggered up slightly, like $10 in the past year, so they haven't really gone up much. Now bearing in mind, it did get printed and reprinted a lot, right? There was a lot of hype around Hidden Fates, and they actually managed to get quite a lot out, and they actually had these reprints over quite a long period, so it wasn't like within 6 months. It was, you know, over a decent amount of time, so it's kept the price reasonable, but it's still quite expensive, and it's had a big impact on the actual cards themselves because they are still quite pricey. So first off, we have the Espeon Full Art Shiny. There are a ton of Full Art Shinies in this set, and paper shinies to be fair, that you can pull. They are beautiful, stunning cards. $60, so it has been dropping. You know, over the past 3 months it went from 70, 72 down to 60 over the past 6 months. It actually had a high and now it's going down even further. And then we go back over the past year, it's still higher on the year, but it is falling. Will it continue to fall? Who knows? This is one of the most expensive cards in the set. Beautiful cards, but like I say, it is dropping. You know, Hidden Face hasn't really moved much. Single card prices are falling. That's actually quite interesting. Next we have the Sylveon, one of my favorites. Again, big cards, $77. It's holding, you know, which is pretty good. We go back 6 months and it's gone up, right? Compared to what we saw with the Leafeon, this one's actually been going up over the past 6 months. Not by much, by about $8. So, you know, 10% roughly. And then we go back a year and, you know, it's done pretty well. Like, in all honesty, going from 60 to 62, now up to 77, 78. It's doing okay. Right, it's doing pretty well. Now, a lot of the Sun and Moon era cards, especially the big cards, have been going up. It was interesting to see that the Espeon has been dropping, even though the Sylveon, as we can see here, has been going up. Then we have the Cynthia. Now, of course, Sun and Moon is big on these full art trainer cards, and this is no exception. $82. Has been dropping, though. So, similar to the Espeon, has been dropping, unlike the Sylveon, which has been going up. So, we're looking at $82 over the past 3 months. It actually was a high of $95. So, has been falling, which is quite interesting to say the least. We go back 6 months with this one, we can see that it did go up and then it's gone back down, so it's kind of going the same way as the Espeon. And over the year, alright, so it's higher than it was a year ago, but not by much. You know, a year ago we're looking at around $76 more. I mean, it did nearly reach 100 and it started to trickle down. So it's interesting, even though all these female trainers are going up across the board, you know, in Sun and Moon era, it's interesting that Cynthia is actually going down. Alright, Umbreon. Not quite the Moonbreon, but Umbreon. Big Umbreon from Hidden Fates here. $116. That's a decent amount of money, right? Decent chunk of change. Again, this one has been falling. We go back over this past 3 months, was sitting at 120. It is currently dropping. We go back 6 months. Hey, it's up over 6 months. That's not too bad, right? You know, we're looking at 110. It's got up $6. Not really much movement. Over the past year, that's where we saw a lot of the movement. Over the past year, from 87 now to 117. It's getting about $30. So this is climbing. You know, it is kind of settling off. Same with we've been seeing with the ETBs. A lot of these big cards from Sun and Moon are just slowly plateauing at the moment. Some of them are even going down. So yes, over the past year they've done well. You know, at the beginning of the year, towards the end of last year, beginning of the year, there was a big boom, Sun and Moon, and that's where we see these big spikes. But now it's starting to calm a bit. And then we got the big boy Zard. He is the chase card in the set. Still haven't pulled it myself yet. Big card though. $393. That is a huge money card, like huge, especially for a Pokemon in the Sun and Moon era, which is really cool. It is incredible. Tough to pull though. Price pretty much stayed the same. We go back 6 months, we get a better idea. So it has gone up, right? We've gone from about 370. It's gone up around about $20 or so. And then we go back a year. Interesting. So it did actually dip to as low as about 350, and now it's going back up to what it used to be like over a year ago. It was around 400. Did drop. And now it's on the uptick. So it's interesting to see what's going on with Hidden Fates, because things are going up and down like crazy. Some are going up, some are going down, some are staying pretty much where they are. So it's interesting to see how things go moving forward. But again, this set's been heavily printed. You know, is it going to like stop the growth? No, they're still growing, but it's definitely slowing it down. On to Shining Fates now. Now, I love Shining Fates, but they did heavily print. It's like a ton. I think they actually probably did it more than Hidden Fates, but they did a lot. Now, during the pandemic, when it was a big hype, it was pricey. It was seriously pricey, and on top of that, you know, it was hard to get hold of. So people were paying, you know, 60 plus for these ETBs. Well, now it's around 43, 44, has been dropping, and to be perfectly honest, it's cheap. It is a cheap product to pick up. I still think it's a great product to pick up and to crack open, because again, there's a ton of baby shinies, ton of full art shinies, ton of amazing cards, which we'll get to. But this, unlike Hidden Fates, has had it a bit tough, you know, a bit rough really, because it's been reprinted so heavily. The value of keeping it sealed at the moment is really poor. And on top of that, the value of the cards have been falling. Okay, so we can see that the past 3 months is pretty much stayed stable, up at like the smallest of margins, right? We go back 6 months, hasn't really moved, right? We go back a year, actually dropped. We did go above $50 a year ago, but again, more reprints. The fact is that it did actually drop at one point below 40 is insane. So, I mean, it's one of these things where down the line, it could, you know, it will go up. Maybe not by much and not very fast, but it will eventually go up. But there's just still so much there's just so much Shining Fates out there. This is what I fear may happen with Paldean Fates, but we'll get to that in a bit. So let's take a look at the cards. We take a look at the top 5 cards of the set. We've got the Shiny Ditto VMAX. So we already looked at the, you know, the Hidden Fates ones, right? The top 5 cards. What, the SP one was what, $60? Right, 60. The first card we got here is 4, right? And it is the Shiny Ditto VMAX. This card is not really worth much at all. You know, we go back to the past 6 months, and this card hasn't done much. You know, we go back the year, and it stayed the same. $4, not really worth it. This is the side effect of something getting heavily printed. Right, then we have the Galarian Rapidash, right? Again, quite a nice baby shiny. $5. Again, not really, you know, moving much, not really doing much. We go back over the past 6 months. I mean, it's literally flat, you know, plateaued and flatlined. Look at that. Okay, it went up over the past year. Not by much though, maybe like $1, but it hasn't really done much. Again, not very great. Then we've got the Ponyta, third most expensive card. Again, $5. So we've had 3 cards in the top 5 which are $5, which is really poor. Right, let's put it that way. That is really, really poor. And this card's actually dropped in value. We go back over the last 6 months. It did actually peak 5.5, and it did drop, and then we go back over the past year, and yeah, this card's pretty much stayed exactly the same. So again, not looking good. Then we got the Suicune coming in at $8. Now this card used to be pricey. Now it's dropped from 10 over the past 3 months. There we go, still 10, and then about the past year, I remember it used to be over $20, and that used to be pretty impressive. But now under 10 for the second most expensive shiny card is nuts. You know, it's absolutely crazy that this card's dropped so much. And then on to the, not only the most expensive card in the set, but the most expensive shiny is the Shiny Charizard VMAX. And this is holding at $76. It has actually been dropping. Pretty crazy actually. Over the past month, 3 months, sorry, 85 dropped as low as 66, went back up to 85, and is now 76. I don't know what's going on with this card. Then we go back to the past 6 months, we can see it has been dropping overall by about $20, and then yeah, over the past year it was over 100. And look at it now, guys. I mean, I love this card. It's one of my favorite cards in the Sword and Shield era. You know, I have it graded. Beautiful, but the value of this card has dropped so much. I remember how expensive this was during the pandemic, because obviously it's so hard to get hold of, and the big boom, that basically this card had really, really good value. Now, I mean, what, the most expensive card in the set, $76. I mean, that's still good, but then what, the next card's like $10? That's really, really bad, you know. So I do feel for Shining Fates, I really do, because it is such a great set. So there you have it, guys. That is Hidden Fates and Shining Fates. Now, Paldean Fates is due to release in January. Now, with the track record of the Scarlet and Violet era, Pokemon are basically getting back on track, as in they are meeting the demand with supply. Probably actually even more supply than the actual demand is needed, except for 151. 151's been going crazy. Is this going to go the same way as Shining Fates? You know, similar to Crown Zenith, where it's very heavily printed. Or is it going to go the way of Hidden Fates, which again was also heavily printed, but did appreciate quite a bit over time? I have a feeling it's going to be more closer to Shining Fates than it will Hidden Fates. It is going to be a very popular set, definitely. It's going to be a great start to the year, because any of these Fate sets are just great fun to open, fun to collect, and, you know, can have potential value. There's been, you know, leaks of a big Charizard you can pull in the set, which, you know, just like the other two, makes sense. We'll have to wait and see. I mean, the shiny subset in this is huge. If the pull rates are going to be anything like 151 or Paradox Rift, cards will hold value. If you can't pull them, it don't matter. You know, their value will go up. So it'll be interesting to see how things go with Paldean Fates. And if you made this far into the video, guys, and you've enjoyed it, make sure to smash that like button. Make sure to subscribe for more Pokemon content. We're on the road to 10,000 subscribers, guys. So make sure to hit that subscribe button. And let me know down in the comments what your thoughts on Paldean Fates. Do you think it's going to be the same as Shining Fates? Do you think it's going to be the same as Hidden Fates? Yeah, I want to find out your opinion, because that'd be actually quite interesting to see if any of you guys think it's going to be one or the other, or be completely different in and of itself. But if you want to know some great cards to pick up right now before they start going up in price, then make sure to click on this video right here. And if you want more Pokemon content, guys, hey, you know what to do? Hit that subscribe button. Alright, guys, that's it from me in this video. As always, you guys are legends, and I'll see you in the next one.